As the kids make their way out and as we begin today, it has occurred to me that really just about every sermon that is preached could have a whole lot of stuff in there about the economy. It's just something that's just always on our minds, and it's affecting a lot of us. But today I want to begin by taking just a little bit of a different approach with it. And I have a question that I think I know the answer to. What I'm going to ask you to do is raise your hand if you would like to, in the next year, see the American improve. All right. Now, what I want you to do is raise your hand if you would like to see America slip further into a deeper recession, possibly even a depression. Raise your hand if you'd like that for that to happen. All right, so I was right in assuming that we'd all kind of be on the same page there, and I'm right there with you. I don't want to see inflation and these decreasing incomes, and Jesus doesn't call us to be masochists and to go through life in misery. He's given us this world to take great joy and pleasure from it. And so, of course, we want the economy to improve. But I want you to pause for just a moment and ask yourself, why? Why do you want the economy to improve? I can imagine some of the thoughts running through your head. I know what my first instinct was. Comfort. A lack of stress. My mortgage. Retirement. These are all good, logical, obvious reasons to want the economy to improve. But did we just as easily think, well, I want the economy to improve so that I have more resources with which to help my hurting neighbor? I want the economy to improve so that I have more to give to my church so that more ministry can be done. I want the economy to improve so that I can even spread my wings and do mission work around the state or nation or even throughout the world. Paul says in that letter we heard to the Corinthians that those who walk by faith will seek to do good things for others and for Jesus Christ in good economies and in even bad economies. But my suspicion is that these frail mortal bodies of ours are so tempted to forget our calling. And really, the reason why a lot of us, at least at first thought, want the economy to improve is so that we can simply go back to the lifestyle that has proven so futile in the first place. Now, I know that talk about the economy can be very sensitive, because there are people here, I can look out at you, and I know who some of you are, that are really hurting because of a job loss. I know there are others who kind of are just waiting for the day they're going to get something in the mail, and it's going to tell them the pension is no longer going to be showing up in a check each month. Quite frankly, and I know that maybe some of you don't want to hear this, people with jobs, I'm finding out, are even burdened a little bit by this tinge of survivor's guilt, but also by the fact that the plug could be pulled on them at just about any moment. These are not easy times, at least by what we're accustomed to. I know that, and our Lord Jesus knows that. He knows what you're going through. But I recognize that sometimes it doesn't seem like Jesus understands what we're going through. When we're enduring difficult days, whether with the economy or with any other calamity that kind of comes into our life, the devil is there all the while, just whispering into our ears, trying to reach our hearts. God doesn't love you. If he loved you, he'd prove it by fixing this mess. And he hasn't done that. That kind of thinking makes a lot of sense to us. And then Paul says something today that doesn't always seem to make so much sense. He says, we walk by faith and not by sight. See, in a few short words there, he is really raising the bar beyond what is attainable, telling us that to be a true follower of Jesus Christ means that we are to trust him with absolutely everything, even when by our sight it seems like he has ceased to be very trustworthy at all. And this is obviously very hard to do. One of us here is born with 20/20 vision that leads us to always understand why God is doing something or what he's even trying to accomplish. Instead, we long for a lot of memories of horrible things that we have witnessed to just be erased. And too often, we let what these eyes see lead us to a lot of difficult for God. How many people must have asked back on that September 11th day if God knew that these planes were going to fly into these buildings? And God knows everything. Well, then why didn't he stop it? And why doesn't God stop those bad people who go and prey on vulnerable, innocent children, like that one who was laid to rest down in Monroe yesterday? Why doesn't God just stop the war instead of leaving it up to all these politicians? We grow up hearing God can do anything he wants. He's all powerful. Well, then why in the world doesn't he want to? Cancer, relationship struggles, money difficulties, anything that makes us hurt, makes us want to cry out, God, make them go away, and then I will follow you. But the scriptures tell us they're not going to go away. Jesus even says there will be suffering. Becoming a Christian is not the way to prosperity. We're not always going to be happy. As a matter of fact, oftentimes our lives when we're true followers of Jesus are going to be a whole lot harder than they were in the first place. That's a distinct possibility. But here is the promise that leads us to endure through all of that with great hope and with joy that this world cannot take away from us. He says all of these things will go away. They will be erased. And I'm not just talking figuratively. I am talking literally. Jesus will make everything brand new. Paul wrote this for us today. Now we know that if this earthly tent is destroyed, we have a building from God in heaven, not built by human hands. You see, while every one of us in here has eyesight that tells us the real estate market is in a shambles, Paul tells us that our journey of faith